Ransomware's out and cryptojacking's in.
So John, you have this article around ransomware still being a prevalent threat with some additional features that we're hearing about. Could you tell us more?
Yeah, actually, I thought this was an interesting story, and it kind of dovetails into a story that you're going to have a little bit later on in a segment. But the crux of the story came from ZDNet, although it's kind of a compilation of a few different antivirus vendors, such as Kaspersky and McAfee. They've all kind of noticed that there's been somewhat of a decline in the amount of ransomware that they've been seeing as compared to last year. So we're seeing some transition of these bad actors trying to use devices for ransomware and shifting more towards cryptojacking. But the ransomware has kind of shifted to more targeted types of activities. So instead of like widespread campaigns of ransomware, you're seeing things like there was, I think we covered this on the show, the city of Atlanta had a ransomware attack against them. So there's these more targeted attacks. There's one group called SamSam that's very focused. They get into organizations, they try to figure out like what their pain point would be, and they deploy ransomware in those environments. So it's not so much hitting lots of individual people, but more so, targeted organizations that they might be able to extract more money for. The other aspect of the story I thought was interesting is, cryptocurrency has been real hot in cryptojacking, and they're kind of suspecting that a lot of people might be, or a lot of bad actors might be shifting that way because there's less risk for them.
The fact that now malware is leaning towards cryptojacking, your security efforts need to evolve with that changing threat landscape.
So an interesting story, there's a lot of statistics when you actually look at some of the links over on Kaspersky that they reference in here, as well as McAfee on their recent report kind of showing the trends. But I really think the nutshell to take out of it is that don't let your guard down. Ransomware is still out there, and your story kind of covers that as well a little later on. But the trend has kind of shifted a little bit away from these mass campaigns, which kind of elevated those statistics back in 2017, right? Whereas now they're down as compared to that.
Yeah, and to your point, I think what we are also seeing is because there's an uptick in the awareness around ransomware, folks are aware of this particular threat actor, but then modifying that same ransomware to be able to do other things that are not easily detected by an average user, especially within a lot of these organizations where the demographic might be different and the security savvy folks might not exist. So the cryptojacking is an easy way for the hacker to actually make some money. If you go about infecting a target of, let's say, 1,000 city employees, right? And then even if you make 10 cents, for each machine, that's still a substantial amount of money that you'd end up making for a really low level of effort.
Right.
Yeah, with the ransomware, the malicious actor only makes money if the infected person actually pays the ransom. So it's, the user has to give in and pay the ransom. They can't have good backups and just restore from that if the bad actor is going to make any money off it. Whereas with the cryptojacking, as long as the system is up and they remain undetected, they can make at least a little money.
And with the way Bitcoin took off towards the end of 2017 there, everybody's trying, it has since declined quite a bit, but everybody is getting in on cryptocurrency because it is, it's a viable revenue stream, especially since there is some, somewhat of an anonymity to cryptocurrencies. As opposed to actual physical currencies.
And this goes back, I think, to a number of organizations thinking about, it won't happen to me, or I've done everything I can to be able to protect against ransomware, for example, or we've taken the decision that from a risk point of view would end up paying for it. This is a very passive way of being able to get the money out of you, right? And you might never even know that this is happening to you. Right?
So I think less risk and still money to be made. So I think those trends are important for organizations to be aware of. I'm not saying ignore ransomware just because the trend is down. I'm saying be more careful because they're being a lot more targeted with it.
Be aware at both a user-centric level and also think about it from a network point of view and make sure that, if you are going to be impacted by any of these threats, can you actually limit that impact?